I'm just going to come out and say it. Star Trek Discovery sucks.
The following is an official Geeks and Company presentation.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Geeks and Company. My name's JS, and today I want to talk about Star Trek Discovery because, frankly, I am a little bit disappointed in the way Star Trek Discovery is going. I have been a Trekkie, well, for as long as I can remember. I used to watch reruns of the original series as a little kid. Essentially grew up watching The Next Generation. DS9 was by far my favorite Trek, actually. I own DS9 on DVD, even though I technically don't have a DVD player anymore. I have still watched it from beginning to end at least 4 times. Now, Star Trek has always had its ups and downs. Star Trek has always had a hard time getting off the ground. It feels like every show's first season, sometimes even second season, are really hard to get through. And then they find their stride. A lot of people didn't like certain shows, period. I feel like Voyager was crap. I didn't like Voyager. Still watched it, but I didn't really like it. Other people think Enterprise was crap, where I feel like Enterprise, when it got canceled, was just finally getting its stride. A lot of people hate the new Kelvin timeline Star Trek movies. They feel it's too action-based. Everybody has their own idea of what Trek should be. And again, that's completely fine. I want to make sure everybody understands that these are my opinions. I'm not telling you that you should be feeling this way. If you are enjoying Discovery Season 4, you know what? That's fantastic. I wish I could enjoy Season 4. The truth is I'm having a really, really hard time getting through Season 4 right now. Let's do a little bit of a recap on Star Trek Discovery. So Star Trek Discovery started and it introduced us to a whole new crew. I think it's 10 or 15 years before the original series, before Kirk and the Enterprise. A lot of people had issues with the way that the show was being portrayed, rewriting too much of the Trek history and lore. A lot of people also had issues with the fact that the show was really about Michael Burnham and should have been called Star Trek Burnham, not Star Trek Discovery. That the show really didn't talk about the crew and it was really all about her. And to that point, I will agree, because I will challenge anybody to name me the bridge crew. Name me all of the bridge crew and their rank. In the comments. If anybody can tell me without looking on Google, if you can honestly tell me who the bridge crew are and what their rank are, I will give you a big thumbs up for that. Because we're 4 seasons in now, and I don't know the bridge crew. I can't remember any of their names. I constantly have to go back and look at, okay, what are the name of the crew? And there's Detmer. I know Detmer, who hasn't been in the last episode. I think she wasn't even in the previous episode either. She hasn't been in the last 2 episodes. And that's another thing that I find weird about this show is that from one episode to the next, certain people will be there, other people won't. One perfect example, Tig Notaro's character, Jet. She hasn't been in a show all season. She was finally in a show in episode 5. We hadn't seen her all season so far. So, there's a weird thing going on where you want us to get attached, to build a relationship with the ship and the crew, but you don't really tell us about the crew. Instead, you want to focus on characters like Adira and Gray, who have a crappy storyline. As far as I'm concerned, the actress or actor, I should say, that plays Adira is garbage. That person can't act. Gray, not too bad. I feel like there's a missed potential there for Gray. I feel like there's a lot more that they can do, but again, that storyline sucks. So again, let's go back and do a little bit of a recap of Discovery. So Star Trek Discovery started by introducing us to a host of new characters. I had a bit of a rocky start, like I mentioned. A lot of people had issues with it. But it did introduce us to a whole new Trek. There was some interesting characters like Captain Lorca, who turned out to be evil, but still was a great character. But what the first season did is it led us into season 2, which was by far the best season of Discovery. Season 2 brought in the Enterprise, commanded by Captain Pike. That show was so good, that crew was so good, that they're now getting their own spinoff called Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which I believe is going to start airing as soon as Discovery ends. So best season by far. We got to meet Spock again, Captain Pike, number 1, etc. Then at the end of season 2, they jump 1,000 years into the future. A lot of it, I think, had to do with, well, 2 things. For one, a lot of the complaints about them changing too many things, about not being properly representative of what the actual history that we know of Trek should be, et cetera, et cetera. That's the first thing. By moving it 1,000 years into the future, now you don't have to worry about breaking canon because you're working in the past. Now you're working in the future. It's all new. You can do whatever you want. Great. There was also a lawsuit against, well, I guess CBS at that point. Look, I don't want to go into too many details about this lawsuit, but this person had a legitimate case. A gentleman created a video game where in the video game, it was based around a crew in a ship that was using tardigrades for interstellar travel. I mean, even down to the bio of the characters was basically stolen from this video game. So I think they had a legitimate case, but now again, moving it 1,000 years into the future, getting rid of the tardigrade, new characters, so on and so forth. I think that was a big play to try to get away from this lawsuit, or maybe they didn't have a choice. Either way. So now they're 1,000 years into the future, and now they have to deal with the burn. And the burn in itself was a neat concept. We got to see a future where the Federation essentially no longer existed. The Federation only had a couple of planets that were part of the Federation at that point. They were essentially out in hiding because there was no longer any interstellar travel after the burn. Every ship using dilithium crystals exploded. So let's try to find out what caused the burn. Of course, Michael Burnham solves the case, and it turned out to be a kid. A kid screaming in pain because he lost his mother. That's what caused the burn. So the whole story and plot line came down to something very silly. It kind of spoiled the rest of the episodes, if you wish. Not spoiled as in it told you what the rest of the episodes were going to be, but spoiled as in a rotten apple, right? Spoils the rest of the batch. That's how I feel about, what happened to season 3. Which brings us then to now season 4. And season 4, let me tell you, again, it feels like we're going through the burn, although this time, season 4, it looks like this anomaly is not a natural phenomenon, which I think we called on the podcast. It looks like it is man-made. And the generic storyline would be fine if it wasn't for the fact that we've already had 2 filler episodes in 5 episodes. That's my first issue. 2 filler episodes in 5 episodes already. Now, the writing for this show, for this season, unbelievable. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense. I don't know who these writers are. I don't know if they've changed writers, but the writing is garbage. The storylines are garbage. Like I was just saying earlier, the Adira and Gray storyline is dumb. We don't know who the bridge crew is. The most interesting character on the show right now, or the most interesting characters, I should say, on the show right now are Saru and Book. And even Book, like from one episode to the next, he completely changes. His character, his attitude, it completely changes from one show to the next. There's no consistency. Listen, okay, I'll give you one perfect example. I believe it was in season 2. Not season 2, sorry, episode 2. After, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, Book's planet explodes. He loses everybody and then wants to go on this mission. Understandably, the captain has an issue, and she's concerned that maybe he's not mentally right to go on a mission after literally losing everybody that he's ever known, his whole family, his whole planet. And she's having a conversation with Saru, sharing those feelings. And the line of dialogue goes something to the effect of, oh, as the captain, I know he's the right person for the job, but as his partner, I'm worried about his mental state and that he'll screw up. Wait, what? Shouldn't it be the opposite? As his partner, he's the right person for the job because you're always going to support him as his partner. But as the captain, you need to be worried about your freaking ship, right? You've got a whole crew you need to look after. So of course you're going to be worried about his mental state, not the opposite. Like, that's where I feel like the writers for Discovery Season 4 have no clue. They really have zero clue about what leadership is. They have no clue about how to tell a story. Again, one of the best characters to come out of Season 3 was Tig Notaro, or Jet, who we haven't seen all season. We finally saw her now in episode 5. I don't get it. I don't get how this show is going so sideways so quickly. But the writing is really, really, really bad, and it's getting worse. The stories are making no sense at all, and it gets me angry inside. I love Star Trek so much. And to see a show being so dumb, especially after, like I said, they had a decent start. Season 1 was okay for me. A lot of people didn't like Season 1. Season 2 was great. Season 3 was meh. But Season 4 now is just absolute garbage. I'm having a real hard time actually getting through Season 4. The reason I'm making this video now, I finally watched episode 4 and 5 of Season 4 yesterday. I've been having a really, really hard time motivating myself to just even watching it. And I don't know, am I going to keep watching? Like I said, at this point, it's becoming very hard. I want to keep watching because I want to believe that this being Star Trek, it is eventually going to get better, but man, they're making it really, really tough. Now, I want to hear what all of you have to say. I want to know what everybody thinks about this season. Now, I know a lot of people aren't even watching anymore. And if you aren't, let me know as well, right? I mean, if you checked out after season 1, 2, 3, I want to know. Let me know below. Tell me what you think about this whole Discovery. I don't want to call it a fiasco, but it's quickly going that way. And is this killing a little bit of your enthusiasm for Strange New Worlds as well as Picard Season 2? I'm really, really looking forward to Picard Season 2. They're bringing back Q, probably one of my favorite all-time characters in Star Trek. So really, really looking forward to that. But I want to know what you guys are thinking. Let me know below. Thanks for sticking with me, everybody. Stay geeky. We'll see you next time.